Let's speak about space, baby. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're taking a look at Sftw stock, Osprey Technologies Acquisition Corp, who is going to be taking a company called Blacksky public. And this is my newest investment. So right off the bat, I just want to make it clear that this to me is an extraordinarily long-term hold. If you go all the way back in time to when I initially invested in Momentus, I always said about that company, this is the longest of long-term holds. So right now, it's still at its Spac stage. It doesn't even have its own ticker symbol. We're getting in extraordinarily early. And I actually bought in last week. I have 300 shares and I'm down nearly 4% currently. So I got in, I think it was in the 13.10 mark. So it's down a little bit from where I bought. So this is one of those SPACs that's exciting, but hasn't gone on an insane run yet. But this company is a leading real-time geospatial intelligence, imagery and data analytics company. So today we're going to speak about that and why that is so important. We're going to go through the company's history because it paints a really good picture of what they've done so far, the kind of people they've worked with, the funding they've received. We're going to speak about what is a smallsat. So a lot of you guys who are in the space industry will already know this, but to those of you who are, a little bit newer to it, you may not be aware. And it will make the entire investor presentation a little bit easier to understand, and it will make, looking into more of these space-related companies easier to understand down the line as well. And then, of course, we're going to have a good look at the investor presentation, as we always like to do when we look at a company for the first time. So, my friends, right before we do get into the video, before we get into the juicy information, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Drop me a comment down below. I'm interested. Did any of you guys buy this company? Did you get in with me? Did you get in before me? And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. We're going to try to get to 100,000, baby. Also, if you are interested in joining my private Discord group, that is the first link in the description. In there you get access to all of my buy and sell alerts. When I bought these guys last week, we bought a couple more companies last week. You get access to over 50 private channels. You get to speak with investors all day, every day. It's juicy, baby. And if you'd like 2 free stocks on Webull, all you gotta do is hit that second link in the description, sign up, deposit $100. You get some free money. So let's remember we're looking at a SPAC, so let's see what the actual deal looks like. The business combination agreement is expected to provide approximately $450 million of net proceeds to the combined company, assuming no redemptions, to fund expected growth. And that's the most important thing about this, and they do stress that in the investor presentation. They are now funded. They can now go into their growth phase. Pro forma equity value of the merger is expected to be nearly $1.5 billion at the $10 per share pipe price. So this is always an extraordinarily important number to remember when we start looking into this company. Because we have to, for one, like the company, like the business, think it has a future, see proof of concept. And when it comes to space companies, that's tough to do. But we also have to be willing to pay a certain amount for them. So $1.5 billion at $10 a share. Let's just say they open up at $12.50. So that's going to be an extra 25%. Maybe they open up a little bit higher. It's going to be just shy of $2 billion. So we know they're a geospatial intelligence, imagery and data analytics company. What does that really mean? If you go onto their website, their homepage, it starts off like this. Be the first to know. Speed changes everything for global intelligence and commercial industry. Through the Blacksky satellite constellation, unique collection of sensors, signals and analytics, we give you an unprecedented view of your world. If situational awareness is important, your alerts can be measured in minutes. And I mean, here's just some examples of what is being monitored right now. They can provide critical insights. I've heard a few people comparing these guys to Palantir, saying they're the Palantir of space. There are many, many, many big differences, but I get the comparison. So perspective is everything. Speed makes it happen. With Blacksky's smallsat constellation, we can revisit locations up to 5 or 6 times per day. Our monitoring capabilities enable you to have near real-time insights into activities and areas that you never thought possible. So that's kind of the absolute basics of it. Now, it gets a lot more exciting than that. Essentially, everything that we just spoke about, when you bring it all together and when you need to make rapid and informed strategic decisions, Blacksky makes it possible. So again, they take all of this data, put it together, and then you just have it nice and easy. You don't have to look for it everywhere. Now the history, okay, some of this is very important. So 2015, public unveiling. 2015 as well, closed their first Series B investment, okay, for $21 million. 2015, again, purchased the first SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket for dedicated rideshare mission. All of this is happening in the same year. 2016, awarded the first GSA scheduled contract for satellite launch services. 2016, that's awesome. And in 2016, they closed 25 million Series B.1 investment and acquired Openware. 2016 again, successful launch of first Blacksky Pathfinder satellite. And 2016, release of Blacksky Global Intelligent Platform. So you can see they were busy from day one. 2017, Blacksky awarded geospatial service contract in partnership with NGA and space flight science contract with NASA to launch U-class payloads. And in 2018, we got much bigger investment, a $150 million investment. LEO Stella formed to manufacture small sats at scale in 2018, getting ready for now, getting ready to grow very quickly, getting ready to go public all the way back then. 2018, Blacksky completes and launches first commercial EO satellites, Global 1 and 2. 2019, start of commercial operations. And the rest is what we're going to be speaking about today. This video is probably going to be quite long, but before we get into the investor presentation, what is a small sat? There is no official or established standard for a small sat, okay? The term typically refers to spacecraft with a mass of less than 500 kg. Small sat just stands for small satellite. And they could be nano satellites, micro satellites, mini satellites, or CubeSats. Right now, similar to computers during the technology revolution, satellites are getting smaller, however, they're becoming bigger inside. So why would you want a small sat as opposed to a big huge one? Okay, they're significantly more cost effective, and you are going to see that again in the investor presentation, up to 90% more cost effective. They're also easier to produce, making them better suited for constellations. Now when it does come to small sats, okay, they're generally used in low Earth orbit. Now this has its advantages and disadvantages, but again, one key advantage to LEO is the availability of launches from Earth. Now you could do a lot more research into that, but that's how simple small sat is, and that's where they generally operate. Now the investor presentation, okay, very good. Some things I want to point out that are both good and bad. So Osprey Technologies investment thesis for Blacksky. This is obviously the Spac. They're a high growth technology company disrupting the market for geospatial imagery and space-based data and analytics. Yes, they're a first mover in a new category with a large and growing total addressable market, real-time Earth observation. Enormous new commercial market unlocked by low-cost data capture and on-demand delivery of analytics, okay? The merger is expected to accelerate growth in satellite constellation, sensor networks, software application development, and commercial go-to-market. Now, very important one here. Near-term financial profile supported by a $1.7 billion sales pipeline and long-term contracts, $1.1 billion of which was acquired over the last 12 months. So go back and compare that to the pro forma valuation that right now is probably somewhere around $1.8 to $1.9 billion. We have $1.7 billion of short-term sales pipeline. It looks very promising, and a lot of that is coming from existing customers. They're building relationships. What are they going to do in the next 12 months? Opportunity to own a category-defining company in the new space economy. This is really what it's all about. Monitoring the global economy in real time. Reveal change that matters most to you. So observe the world in real time. Detect and monitor global activity. And that leads you to be able to understand and predict change. Which again is why a lot of people are comparing these guys to Palantir. They take all of this data, all of this tech that's going on everywhere, put it all together, and they can kind of predict what's going on. So Blacksky at a glance, a few things I want to point out here, but first of all, let's just look at the revenues. We'll spend a lot more time on the financials towards the end of the video. 2021 estimate, 46 million. By 2025, looking at 546 million. That's that $1.7 billion pipeline, 85% of which is from existing customers. Proven low cost, high revisit small sats on orbit. I mean, that goes to show, it speaks for itself. Leading real-time sensor agnostic data and analytics software platform. Vertically integrated, customer validation from multiple government agencies, always important, especially when we're looking at these space-related companies. I know in pretty much every sector you do really like to see, you know, government contracts, but I think genuinely it's very important when it comes to space. 137 employees, including 98 software and system engineers and data scientists, okay? Keep in mind, they've gone to this stage with 137 employees. They have a lot of funding now. I mean, a lot of money. They can definitely, you know, up that hiring spree if they do so wish. So here's what I was speaking about earlier. They offer the lowest cost imagery capture. Look at this. Legacy satellite imagery. $120,000. That's an estimated monthly cost for daily imagery collection, okay? Blacksky offers it at $12,000. That's a 90% saving. Drives capital efficiency and operating leverage. I mean, you love to see it, and anybody who wants these is also going to love to see it. Now, you would be led to believe that potentially, you know, the legacy satellite is going to gather more data for you, but in this particular scenario, they say estimated monthly cost for daily imagery collection for a 25 kilometer squared site. So if that's all you need, this is going to be absolutely fine. Again, I like to always remind people that in investor presentations, it essentially is a company's job to make themselves look as good as possible. So potentially these numbers would change if I went to a 50 kilometer squared site, but the numbers still stand. So Blacksky's artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities deliver valuable insights. So we see things such as event detection, computer vision, change detection, routing prediction, and time series analysis. All of this data coming together. And you can imagine that pretty much every industry in the world could benefit from something that's going on here. And at the rate the small sats are going now, with how much cheaper they are getting, with how much cheaper it is to, send a satellite to space, like this could become very, very widely used down the line. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen next year or 5 years time, but potentially 10 years down the line, nearly everyone could have a satellite. I know it sounds crazy to say right now, but who knows? So they serve a large and expanding market for space data and analytics. I don't think you need to get into that too much. I think it speaks for itself. Total addressable market at about $13 billion right now. Okay, looking at a 25% compound annual growth rate over the next 5 years. We could be looking at a $40 billion market. And given how much sales pipeline they already have with this size of an addressable market, I definitely think they can grow quickly. I think there's a lot of room to grow still. They have built several valuable competitive advantages, okay? There's a lot here. As of right now, this moment in time, revenue generating assets on orbit. They have a 50% interest in LEO Stella JV, a manufacturer of proprietary small sats and partner sensor payloads. We spoke about that earlier. Customer validated software platform. Their data is expanding by the hour. They have the foundations for understanding, analyzing, and predicting global change. The merger with Osprey fully funds the growth plan. So they've spent the last 7 years more or less investing, and they've done well. Now they're looking to accelerate pretty much everything that there is. And then when we get to 2025, we're looking at making a lot of revenue and expanding very, very quickly. And that's why when it does come to these space-related companies, a lot of the time, I am here saying that they're going to be very long-term holds. And if that company is to do well in the long term, your investment will do extraordinarily well. There more than likely will be some losers in the space industry, let's be completely honest, but I don't think there's going to be too many. As long as you're picking decent companies. Some of the relationships they have for data software and analytics. Look at this. US Air Force. National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. We have the US Army, the US Air Force. We have a lot going on, my friends. And this slide here, I genuinely believe, will give a lot of value to investors. It makes everything we're speaking about so simple. So, illustrative commercial market applications for real-time geospatial intelligence. Energy and utilities, so pipeline monitoring. Regulatory requirement for detecting leaks, hazard, intrusion, and theft. Inventory monitoring. Business and competitive intelligence on oil and gas reserves and infrastructure. Then things like insurance, okay, claims processing, automated property assessments. And you can see that for all of these different industries, and there's going to be many, many more as well. And all of these industries are looking at a 30 to 35% CAGR over the next however many number of years. Now the financial overview, my friends, always important. And I want to bring you back again to that pro forma equity value, which was to be nearly $1.5 billion at $10 per share. So we're probably at about 1.8 to 1.9 billion as of market open today, more likely. So revenue, okay, looking to grow considerably every single year going forward. Look at those compound annual growth rates up here. Ultimately by 2025, looking at over $500 million in revenue. Under normal circumstances, that sort of figure would raise an eye for me. But then I look at the gross profit, and our gross margins are absolutely fantastic. Look at that, a gross profit of 436 million off of 546 million in revenue. And that leaves us with an adjusted EBITDA 2025 estimate of 244 million. Near-term revenue growth is largely driven by existing customers. And again, this is so important, it cannot be overstressed. Blacksky's pipeline of $1.7 billion has increased by 1.1 billion over the last 12 months. If they keep that sort of growth rate up, we can be looking at $3.5 to $4 billion by the next 12 months. So 2020, we're looking at 22 million, okay? Contracted and follow-on, 20 million. Net new, for 2021 estimate, 46 million. And it goes on in that way. So the financial forecast, they're looking to turn a gross profit this year of 14 million. That's this year, my friends, for a space company. There's a lot of them out there who aren't turning that profit yet. No, I mean, it's 14 million. And our operating profit is still negative. It's still negative 64 million. But still, it's not absolutely horrific. Now, what I will say is, yet again, if we actually go look at the operating profit, you will see that's not turning positive till 2024. So this is one big thing to be aware of, my friends. In my opinion, I expect this company to grow on a pretty much quarterly basis from here on in. And I think we're going to see some good quarterly reports. I think there's going to be some nice gross profits relatively soon. But that operating profit doesn't turn positive, estimated till 2024. So we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to keep our eye on that continually. Adjusted EBITDA now does turn positive next year is what they're saying. Just barely, but still. So all in all, when I look at the financial forecast, I think it's decent. I definitely do. And this was one of the big reasons why I was willing to invest at the price I did invest at. I thought I was getting it for somewhat fair value, potentially a little bit of a premium. But when I believe that these guys are going to trade at large premiums down the line, I don't mind paying a little bit of a premium. At 12.57 now, 12.43p market, I still think that these guys are at absolutely fantastic value. But of course, my friends, I'm not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. Always go out there, Do your own research, do your own due diligence, form your own thoughts and opinions. But my friends, that is my video on this company. Genuinely do think they're really interesting. And this is a company I'm very happy to have in my portfolio because I'm going to be very happy to keep up to date with them because it genuinely interests me. If you did watch this video all the way till the end, let me just tell you that you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you being here from the bottom of my heart. Your support means the world to me. If you did stay till the end, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, maybe drop me a comment down below, and please, my friend, subscribe if you're new around here. And again, if you are interested in that private Discord group, it's a juicy community. There's a lot of true legends in there. You get all of my buy and sell alerts. That's the first link in the description. And if you'd like those free stocks on Webull, that's the second link, my friends. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have an absolutely beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you for another video very soon. Peace.